Something a lot of people tell me is that they're curious about playing Dungeons and Dragons, but they don't know where to start. Well, you're going to need three things: some dice, some people to play with, and a character. And in this video, we're going to be helping with one of those things by building a fully functioning D&D character sheet in Minecraft. And here it is. Okay, yes, I know, April Fool's was a few days ago, but I am going to use this to explain the cool redstone thing we're going to build. This is what a real D&D character sheet looks like. So in D&D, most of the things are resolved by the Dungeon Master asking you to roll a 20-sided die, and you add a number to it. So let's imagine that you are dangling from a slippy rope in the rain over a ravine, and you say that you try to climb it. The DM might ask you for an athletics check, and the number that you add goes in this spot here. So where does that number come from? Well, it depends on a number of other things, but mostly it depends on this, your strength score. There are 6 ability scores in the game: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And all of the ability checks like animal handling, nature, investigation, stealth, they all depend on one of those 6. There are several ways of choosing them, but we're going to be doing the fun one, which is randomly. We're going to roll this formula, 4d6, drop 1. Now you may be thinking, what the furball does that mean? And what it means is this: we're going to roll 4 regular 6-sided dice, 4d6, and we're going to keep the highest 3. Or if you like, we're going to throw away the lowest. So here is what we're going to do. In each of these droppers, we have our 6 possible dice outcomes. Do you have trouble telling the difference between a dropper and a dispenser? This episode is brought to you by Dropper Dispenser Blindness Awareness. Each of these dispensers contains the 6 possible rolls from 1 all the way through to 6. So we're going to roll 4 d6. And we get a 4, a 2, a 2, and a 3. And so what we're going to do is we're going to ignore the lowest number. So that can be either of these 2s. We throw it away. And then we add up the 4, the 2, and the 3 to get a 9, which is a pretty low number. Let's try doing that one more time and hope we get something higher. A 2, a 6, much better, a 6, amazing, and a 1. So we're going to ignore the 1. 6, 6, 2, and that gets us a total of 14. It's pretty good. So you get the idea. So what we need is a way to systematically ignore the lowest number. Now, if you've watched any of the previous episodes, you will see that these are set up so that they give the signal strength that it says on the box. So to illustrate that, I've set up some lamps here so you can see that the signal strength matches the number on the box. Now, what we want to do is we want to add up all of the lamps that are lit, but we want to ignore this one because it's the lowest number. And what I want you to notice here is the one we want to ignore is the only column with 4 lights on. And you can do a little bit of thinking about that, but that is always going to be true. If we limit ourselves to only 3 lamps being on per column ever, we are always going to get the total that ignores the lowest number. If we add up all of these here, we get the correct number, which is 14. And I can demonstrate that with this setup. So each of these droppers here has 3 of these ability score items in. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll 4 dice. So just remember what these numbers are. I'm not going to bother to put them back because we don't care about this being random. So that was a 6, that was a 2, that was a 1, that was a 3. So it should be the total of 2, 3, and the 6. So we should get back a total of 11 items. There we go. So let's apply what we just learned. Let's say in our machine we have a big store of these roll result items, and we're going to stick them in a dropper like this. We want to put them in a second dropper which will have exactly 1, 2, 3 of these items in at any one time. And what we want to do is every time we roll, we want to be able to reset this so it has exactly 3 in. So I'll put another hopper in here that will, when it's done, extract the unused items out of here. And let's just put in a target block here. And what we're gonna do is just stack this a bunch of times. Okay, so now this locks all of those hoppers. And what I need to do is I need to pulse this 3 times. So I want to build a machine that hooks this up to a dice roller and does 2 things. I want to get this shulker back that gets us the roll result, but also I want to know which individual d6 rolls made that up. Just because I think that's an interesting thing for the player to have. It kind of simulates what happens when you roll real physical dice. And with this machine here, we can do it. So I've added a bunch of stuff here. You can recognize what we were working on just now. Let me walk you through this. So this here, this is the die roller. You may recognize this from previous episodes. We get a different shulker box every time. The thing that's on the right here, this is a signal strength decoder. So you can see every time I press this button, I get precisely 1 torch that lights up. And that tells me exactly what I rolled. That last one was a 5. When these torches light, they are seen by these observers, and then they are going to trigger whichever dropper has the individual die result in it. How this decoder works is when the shulker box gets dispensed, it's being read by this comparator. And it is powering this line here at the back. So if I roll a 6, I'm going to get all 6 of these lighting up. And these are being read by these repeaters. Now it is powering this AND gate here, but also the repeaters are being read by these observers. So if I roll a 6, 6 of these observers will fire. If I roll a 3, 3 will fire. And I'm using a little bit of magic here to QC power these droppers and power the note blocks above them to make them fire. So now I can demonstrate this working. What we're going to do is we're going to lock all of these hoppers to stop things draining out of these droppers. We're going to charge the droppers and get 3 items in each. Then we can do our rolls. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now all of the items that we care about should be in these 6 droppers in the middle. So we're just going to power them a bunch. So that gets us 3, 4, 2 2s. Ignore one of the 2s, add these up, and you get the correct roll result of 9. So having just demonstrated that this works, I'm going to try and make myself a little circuit that automates the resetting of this and rolls 4 dice each time. And I'm going to try and make it as compact as I can. Well, I have updates. This is a working prototype of the machine. And you can see here I have connected up all of the parts of it so it will roll 4 dice and then output the results into a shulker down here. And if I just check this briefly, you'll see we have 6, 4, 4, and 3. We can ignore the 3, and you can see that 6 plus 4 plus 4 is 14. So this machine here works, but we need 6 of these. And I want to roll 6 all at once. So we're going to need to copy and paste this part. And we're also going to need the brains of the machine to be a lot more compact. So what I did over here is extract just the brains, and then I've labelled all of these lines that go from the brains of the machine to the individual bits. And then I took this and went a bit crazy. Because you can see here are 6 copies of the machine. And those colours that I showed you earlier are now these 5 buses. So now when I click this button, all 6 of these machines will run at the same time. And if I pick one of them at random, let's pick this one. You can see we have a hopper in here. We'll just check this roll result as well. And we can get rid of the 2. We have 4 plus 6 plus 5. That should be 15. There we go. But we will need a few things in order to build this in survival. We'll need all of this redstone for a start, but I think I've got a reasonable amount of that saved up. The other thing we're going to need is the thing I'm holding in my hand. Shulkers. So we're just really casually going to go into the nether, find a fortress, kill some blaze, trade for ender pearls, make eyes of ender, find a stronghold, kill the dragon, raid some inn cities. There we go, shulker boxes. And with that minor detail out of the way, we can look for a place to build this thing. This is going to be the first place that characters come when they join this world. So it needs to be impressive, there needs to be a little bit of lore behind it. And I think a temple. And, well, look at this place. I really like the idea of building it right in here and using this sort of natural pool. Once I've cleared out all of these mobs, I'm going to clear out a space for the machine underneath here.
Close your eyes, hear the voice within, calling this heavy load got under your skin. Howling, you got the white knuckles holding on to tight, keeping your feelings bottled up inside, heading for collision in the night. To really live, you gotta die. Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors around. Look at the colors around. Look at the colors around.
So you may be wondering, why did we build that whole thing underground and in fact underwater? And that's because I thought it would be cool for new characters to arrive here by sea. And then what they see inside this mountain is the temple of the goddess Amalyne, patron of wanderers. And the first thing they do is dive down to this ancient shrine and put in this Amalyne's coin into this pot. And you should be able to hear some things happening. I may do some custom sounds while people are waiting for things to pop up. But you can see, haha, there we go. These 6 shulkers here are all our ability scores. So we collect them all up. So our ability scores here are a 13, a 10, a 9, an 8. Oh, these are terrible rolls. A 14 and a 7. Oh, you would not want to roll these in a real D&D campaign. If you're curious about these item textures, by the way, no, this isn't modded. These are just things like bamboo that are retextured. And these ones here are ones that I made. Whereas these 2 textures are made by a pixel artist called Gleonox. And I think that is as far as we're going to get today, because the next part is going to be ambitious. What we need to do is we need to take these ability scores and we need to assign them to the 6 abilities and choose all the other things on the character sheet. And I thought it'd be fun if our characters wind their way up this mountain while they make those choices. And maybe next time we'll even have some friends come along and try it out. So as the sun sets on this episode, all there is to say is, well, I look forward to seeing you next time. I've been Mojo Beast. Keep rolling those dice.